Hi Aries, this is your forecast for the month of November 2017. But before I start, I'd like to say that I really feel like I have the best group of people following me. I want to thank you for your kindness, your support, your comments. They're really motivational for me and they encourage me to keep going. All right, this is a general reading for Aries Sun, Aries Rising, or Aries Moon. It might also be helpful for you to watch your rising and moon sign. You can join me on Facebook and Instagram for daily insights on tarot and astrology, as well as my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/on-demand/The Alchemist Astrologer, where you can access a variety of videos on love, finance, and well-being. So Aries, this very first week, you're not getting off to the greatest start. You seem to be going in circles about something. And maybe you're not getting along with others. There's an air of discord, disagreement, people wanting to do their own thing, people not listening. And there could even be some issues of deception or treachery. And so this is a week where you're going to have to be careful about your interaction with others. Maybe you've been going in circle about something that connects to gaining your freedom in some way. Or maybe there are issues where somebody's been rebellious. They feel like they can just do anything. Or maybe you've been going in circles with something and you're in a rut. You need to get out of your regular routine or your way of thinking. For some of you, you've been holding on to a negative situation for so long that you need to let go of it. You need to move on. This is negative energy, one-upmanship, tit for tat, and really getting nowhere. It's somebody taking advantage or exploiting in some way and not really caring about the casualties left behind. So this is a week where you're going to have to be careful about going too far, by pushing buttons, by overstepping other people's boundaries. And you may be dealing with a situation where you feel frustrated that you're not being heard or acknowledged. And so that frustration, though, is going to be a catalyst for you. Whatever this situation is, it's been going on for a while. And it's something that inside, maybe you knew you needed to take some steps to address it, and yet you kept avoiding it. And now you're in a situation where you've hit critical mass. And so you're going to have to do some things and address some issues that you should have done a long time ago. Now, this can be a week where you get frustrated. You want something to move because, again, this has been going in circles. So you feel impatient about a situation. And it causes you to rush to judgment. You start acting in foolish ways or impulsively and taking some risks that are going to cost you later on. Now, in the positive, this is you knowing what you're facing and you want to get to brass tacks. You want to get down to the bottom of a situation. And so if you've been holding yourself back, now you feel a stronger resolve to figure out something, to move it forward, to address it. And you're going to let your doubt go. It's something that's been on your mind, something that's been worrying you. You're going to put all of that aside right now. You just want to know how you can move forward. You don't care what the answer is. I mean, you care, but not enough to keep you from moving forward. You want to know where you stand in a situation so that you can make some progress. Now, part of this, again, could be you waited so long to address something. You knew better, but you didn't deal with it, and you started taking something for granted. Now, maybe you took yourself for granted. You didn't acknowledge really what you needed, or maybe you took other people for granted, and now nobody's listening to you. They're not paying attention to you. Or maybe you took your health for granted. You knew way back that you needed to go check out something about your health or take your, go to the doctor about something, and yet you failed to do that, and now you're dealing with the repercussions of that. Something is coming back that you have to deal with. And for some of you, you're getting, because of that, because you took something for granted, you ignored it, you turned your head the other way, you didn't address it. Now you're getting a reality check. Maybe somebody's striking back, or something that you took for granted now has fallen through the cracks, and it's become a bigger issue than it would have been had you dealt with it in the first place. And whatever this is, you may feel hurt or humiliated or wounded in the process. This is a week for you to be mindful of risk-taking. This is a card of strong self-reliance, acting in your own self-interest, except not at the expense of other people. And again, not taking anything for granted, not putting yourself in harm's way physically. This could be a week where if you're having some medical issues, those could be especially challenging. You may be trying to find the right medication or the right dosage, or even to come up with what's wrong with you. It could be difficult to pinpoint the root of an illness right now. So this is a week where you have to be careful, you have to be mindful, you have to be focused, because it frequently shows up when you're so caught up in something, your emotions, something that you're doing, that you're not paying attention to something else important. And as a result, you end up making an error, you make a mistake. Maybe you end up having a misunderstanding with somebody, or even an accident. If you're not paying attention on the road, or you're in your work, if you're dealing with equipment and you don't pay attention, you may hurt yourself. Or you may be working on an important paper and you hit the delete button and there it goes. Or you throw a receipt in the trash and then you need it. This is about not being focused and paying attention. Now, the second week, you have some kind of tie to the past. Now, this may connect to childhood, an old friend. Maybe you're renewing some ties. Maybe you're rekindling a love connection. This could be anything that's connected to some memories that you have. Maybe something you feel sentimental about. For some of you, this is going to be a week of change. Maybe you get a job offer, or you're trying to move. There's something unexpected about this week, and in the positive, it's gonna surpass what you had hoped for, even your expectations, your dreams, because some kind of gift or opportunity could open up for you that is connected to your past. For others of you, this is about, living in the past, not letting something go. And especially if last week you were caught in a rut and going on in a circle about something, beating your head against a wall, trying to start something, trying to end something, just being stuck. So part of the stuckness could be stuck in the past, having a tie to the past. And for some of you, though, maybe you're getting past a no-win situation. You're putting that in the past. And you're looking at how far you've come from that negative situation because you relied on yourself. And so for you, this is a week of counting your blessings. And maybe if you were dealing with treachery or deception or underhanded people or manipulation, this is the week where you get to prove yourself. Some kind of overdue vindication takes place. Or maybe you in the past, you hadn't gotten to express yourself. You couldn't make that connection. And this week, you have the opportunity to either receive or show someone how much you care, how you feel, how much you appreciate them, or vice versa. So something good you've done in the past could show up for you as a blessing right now. And it's likely that you are going to be experiencing a deja vu sort of situation. Something is coming back again full circle. Some encounter that feels very much like something that happened before in your past. This is a week about paying attention to your dreams, your intuition, your hunches, because those are going to prove uncanny for you, and there may be some messages in there. And so this is going to be a week where you're going to hear from someone or about someone from your past. Now, this could be somebody who has deceived you in the past. And in that case, obviously, you don't want to hear them from them, and you don't want to contact them. But for some reason, you have to. Maybe you were wanting to avoid them, but there's no chance of that. It's a no-win situation. You've got to connect to this person. Part of it could be that maybe you did something. You made a mistake. You overlooked something. You made an error in judgment. Or again, you weren't paying attention to your health, and now you're having to deal with some medical issues. In the positive, something that you thought was closed off, that you thought was a no-win situation, is now opening up for you. Some avenue, some doorway, some opportunity. And you get to revisit that and make good on it. Now, the third week, you have this Three of Wands. And just by virtue of falling in the third place, this is a very important card for you. So this is a week where you're focused on discussions, connecting with other people. For some of you, this is about commerce. Maybe you're involved in some kind of enterprise. Maybe you sell things. Maybe you create things. Maybe you're part of a corporation of some sort. This is a week where any ideas that you have been forming are starting to crystallize. It's starting to come together. And so for some of you, you're going to get a confirmation that you're on the right path. This may tie to a connection from the past. Maybe you're expanding your business. Maybe you're exploring some enterprise. Maybe you're in negotiations. There's something that you're doing, that you're undertaking something. It may be commercial, or maybe you're traveling. For some of you, this is like seizing the moment. It's like being in a competitive situation where somebody takes advantage of it and they exploits that. So, somebody may steal a position right from up under you, or they make some kind of move that undercuts your success. And that goes back to week 1, when you may have been dealing with somebody who was acting in an underhanded or manipulative way. Now, for some of you, this has to do with, again, resurrecting some kind of situation or some kind of connection and making some changes. You're trying to breathe life into something again, and there's a sense of renewal, or you are recognizing that the past is no longer serving you. There's been some negative energy connected to the past, and you need to move on from that. For some of you, you're feeling a loss of direction. That's why you're going in circles. There's a lack of ambition, or you're questioning your own motives or those of others. Maybe you're changing your mind, or you're having difficulty making a decision. For some of you, you're dealing with some difficulties in business, and there's a lack of cooperation, and maybe you even feel like you've wasted your efforts thus far. The alliances that you've been involved with have been unpredictable, unreliable. They're not helpful to you. And maybe you started something that looked like it had some promise, but it's just not coming through. It failed to deliver. For others of you, you're dealing with treachery and some opposition. And, some of it may have been that you had some unrealistic goals or plans. Somebody may have said they would help you, and then they withdrew the offer. Or perhaps you did that. Maybe you find yourself in a situation where you're a little bit too proud to even ask for help or accept it. Whatever it is, this is going to be a week where, if you have large concerns and you are looking toward the future in some way, this is all about focusing on whatever is in front of you, your current obligations, your responsibilities, your duties. There may have been some things that you formerly had, allowed to fall through the cracks. But if you are planning to get to that destination that you foresee for yourself, then this is a week to get in gear and deal with what is in front of you. Now, you may be especially resourceful this week, especially if you got a job offer. Maybe you're putting your ideas out there, you're networking, and you're going to be able to come up with the right answers. You're going to say the right thing. You're going to be resourceful, and you're going to be able to make the changes that are necessary, whatever those are. In that first week, you were making a connection. You just wanted to know where you stood so that you could change your course of action if need be. And this is a week where you accommodate any kind of change, whether that's because of you or other people. Now, again, some of you are dealing with people who are not helpful. They're unpredictable. They're reliable. They may cancel. So either you or someone else may let the other person down, and at the last minute, somebody may be playing with the storyline, or somebody may be withholding information. They're not giving all of the facts, all of the details. And again, this is another week where you're going to have to rely on yourself, because nobody's going to come in to save the day for you. There's not going to be any last minute rescue, no knight on a white horse. It's going to be you. Now, for some of you, the treachery is simply distorting something. You're trying to make people believe a certain thing. Maybe you're selling yourself, you're promoting yourself, and yet some of the things are not completely true. You're showing all of your strengths, but you're hiding the weaknesses, or you're overreaching your capabilities, or you're not being completely honest about what you can and can't do, and that's going to hurt you ultimately. Now, the fourth week, you have this 10 of Pentacles. So this is another card about history and perhaps a tie to the past, but more with a building upon the past into the future. This is about creating legacies, permanence. And so for some of you, this may have to do with concern for your parent, or, traditional values, or creating some financial security or some stability. It's about family situations and, again, a sense of prosperity. Now, for some of you, this is a focus on material abundance. If last week you were networking or trying to sell something, or there was an interview, this is the week where you're trying to make that transition. Something is going on in your life that's changing. So you may have connection with a corporation, big business, government, and this is about, again, building upon something, your family traditions, your net worth, making a major purchase of some sort, closing out a business deal, home, property, investments, could be inheritances, trusts, pensions. This could even be some ability that you've inherited, some gift, or maybe in some cases, if this is a medical situation, it could be an illness that you've inherited. But there is a focus on business and money. And for some of you, this is going to be a week where you really want to step up to the plate. You want to take on more responsibility. You want to create a foundation for yourself. So this week, you may be very involved with financial issues. You're attracted to people and you're dealing with people that have to do with your future. It could be banks. It could be brokers. It could be wealthy individuals. It could be investors. It could be, some form of income that you're receiving. So this could be a week where you're going over taxes, insurance, your savings. If this was about your business and you're self-employed, you're looking for ways to branch out, do more, sell more, go into other areas, or even perhaps sell your business. Now, in the negative, there are some issues. And getting back to that first week, that 5 of Swords, this could indicate that there are some disputes over family money or fights in the family, some financial losses. Maybe there's some disapproving family members. Maybe your parent is ill or sick. So there could be some problems connected to inheritance or the burden of wealth, or for some of you, perhaps a lawsuit or a death in the family, or you're just having problems with dealing with large corporations or government. Some of you, the deception has been some, bad financial decisions. You took a risk that didn't pay off, and now you're having to restructure your finances. Some of you, you're trying to avoid the past, cut ties with the past, and so maybe there's some family estrangement. You're not dealing with your family. Your family doesn't approve of you or you of them. You're rejecting tradition. And so this is a week where a lot of things are tied together. The material, the emotion, your destiny, other people. And those bonds and links either become stronger this week or they weaken. So you're focused on attaining something, whether that's success or recognition, or recognizing that some things are no-win situations and you got to give up the ghost. So you stop struggling and you accept what your situation is. For some of you, again, this comes down to health. You realize that you need to take better care of yourself, or somebody close to you is now having some issues or some problems or some kind of condition that maybe it never bothered them before, but now it has to be addressed. It could be something ongoing that now requires some attention. And because of it, you may have to take on somebody else's financial responsibility or vice versa. And for those of you who have not managed properly, this could be a week where, for whatever reason, you get turned down for credit, for a loan, or if you get the loan, you end up having to pay a much higher price than what the interest rate is just sky high. Now, the underlying influence is this Eight of Wands. And so for some of you, there's a lot happening this month, and it's happening quickly. Maybe you're dealing with pushy people. Maybe you've been putting forth a lot of effort and you're going nowhere. For some of you, you're having to act quickly given circumstances. There's some obstacle that you're facing that you're trying to overcome. So something is happening quickly. Either maybe you're traveling, or there's some communication, or some blockages that have been in place previously now get removed this month. Some opportunities open up. And you have to act on those. You have to act quickly. For some of you, this is wrapping some things up. There's some conclusion to a situation. You're getting some news. You're moving ahead on something. You've got some new ideas. Again, for some of you, this is a job offer or some kind of business deal or travel that you're taking. But for others of you, those who couldn't get past the Five of Swords that first week, and there's some family issues or financial problems, there's some delays for you this month. There's some disruptions to your plan. Something has stalled, or it's moving very slowly. And it may be centered around some disputes, some jealousy, some marital issues, or perhaps some third parties. But there's some kind of setback where you feel out of control, some upsetting news has crossed your path, and maybe somebody's forcing an issue, maybe somebody's being too pushy, or they're just some ill-considered decisions that result in problems or waste or miscommunication. So this is going to be a month where just about anything could happen. You may surprise yourself, circumstances, other people are going to go against the grain. And nothing is going to follow the script as you envision it. So this is all bets are off. Whatever you thought was going to happen, you can toss that aside, because no matter how orderly or organized or detail-oriented you thought you might have been, something is going to go off the rail or go in another direction. And either by choice, because you've decided, or because you're forced to, you're going to have to step back from a situation and take a second look. You're going to have to reorient yourself to new circumstances, new information, new situations, because there's something that you're going to need to save or finish or launch or complete. And you're going to have to rush to do that because of new circumstances that have entered the picture. For some of you, you're getting past a situation and you're moving quickly. You're aggressively addressing something and you're accomplishing a lot, and you're going to end up with time to spare on your hands because you're in top form. You're making sound, quick decisions. But for others of you, you're lost in the storm and things are running away with you. They're overwhelming you. And your head is spinning. You haven't even fully integrated what is going on. You're still scratching your head. So whether or not you were expecting these things, something is going to happen where you have to act quickly and maybe more so than you're ready to deal with. This is get up and get moving. Get on the train or miss it. And you're going to have to really push hard to create the outcome that you want, because if you just let that wind rush past you, you may be disappointed with what that outcome is. The good news is you don't have any major cards, so you're largely in control. Part of this is that you're doing some kind of review, some kind of discussion or some kind of quick transaction that you need to make. Something is going on. And part of that could be some kind of message that you receive that changes your plans, and you're having to act quickly, and it's focused on your freedom, your independence, and situations and people that affect you, affect your long-range destiny. And part of it is you trying to get some kind of recognition or achieve something or some kind of success. And it connects to your ambition, something that you're hoping to accomplish. Now, many of you are involved in a situation that has been at in a stall, a dead end, no resolution. And so an outside party, some factor, is going to step in and take control of this situation. For others of you, there's some clear goals that you have, but there's no forward movement. And for some of you, that's because there's been a fear of success. For some of you, there's a party involved, either you or the other person, where you just won't be rushed, or somebody has to really grasp and understand what the end goal is before they take action to move forward. Now, for some of you, there could be somebody in your life who is solid, who is reliable, and yet this person is criticized or misunderstood. Perhaps you're playing that role. And so this is somebody that can always be counted on to do the right thing, yet they may not have a lot of popularity. This is also about recognizing your own vulnerability, and that no matter how strong you may feel you are or think you are, there are still instances where you may need to lean on someone. So again, there's some kind of negative situation, something unexpected, and there's going to be some discussions about you trying to achieve something or get some kind of recognition. You're trying to gain freedom either through the past or from the past, and that's going to require you resurrecting some kind of partnership that ties to your money or your family or a corporation or the government.